Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Insidious Inc. Tonight I've got some of the creepiest camping stories you'll ever hear. These aren't just ghost stories, these are real encounters, taken from people who went into the woods and barely made it back. I handpicked these stories because they are truly disturbing, and seriously, they'll make you think twice before camping again. Alright, without further ado, let's get into it. The whispering started around 2 a.m. At first it was distant, like wind passing through the trees. But then, it got closer. And then, our tent zipper started to move. There were 6 of us, ready for a weekend of hiking, drinking, and ghost stories by the fire. Our campsite was deep in the woods, far from civilization, just the way we liked it. The first night was perfect. We set up our tents, roasted marshmallows, and talked late into the night. The fire crackled, shadows danced against the trees, and the only sounds were the wind and the occasional hoot of an owl. At around 2 a.m, we finally turned in, zipping ourselves into our tents, cocooned in sleeping bags. The forest outside was still, too still. Then, in the middle of the night, I woke up. I didn't know why at first. I just lay there, with my heart pounding in the darkness. Then all of a sudden, I heard a whisper faintly, just outside the tent. I held my breath, straining to listen. The wind? No. The sound was too deliberate, too rhythmic, like someone whispering words I couldn't quite make out. It was distant at first, barely audible, but then it moved, drifting between the tents. Slow, careful, closer. I turned to wake my friend, but he was already sitting up, his wide eyes catching the faint glow of the moon through the tent fabric. He heard it too. The murmuring grew louder, layered, almost like multiple voices speaking at once. Then the worst part was that the zipper on our tent started to move. A slow, deliberate tug, metal teeth, separating inch by inch. I bolted upright, hands shaking as I grabbed my flashlight, the zipper creeping closer to opening, until I flicked on the light, freezing it in place. A heavy silence followed. Then, from the trees, was laughter. Not the kind you'd expect from campers. It was wrong, dry, hollow. Too many voices laughing at once. Some close, some far, some right outside our tent. We stayed inside until the first rays of sunlight pierced through the fabric. When we finally gathered the courage to crawl out, expecting to see footprints or broken branches, but to our surprise, there was nothing. No tracks. No signs that anyone had been there. But the zipper, it was halfway open. Spending a night in the woods with friends can be terrifying when you realize you're not alone. But at least in a group, you have someone to run with. But what if you're completely alone? No one to hear you scream. No one to help when something comes crawling out of the darkness. It was supposed to be a solo trip. 3 days alone in the mountains to clear my mind. Just me, my tent, and the wild. The first night was peaceful. I sat by my fire, letting the crackling flames keep the darkness at bay. The night air was crisp, filled with the sounds of crickets and rustling leaves. I let my mind drift, staring into the fire, feeling more at peace than I had in months. Then around midnight, the forest went silent. No crickets, no rustling leaves, not even the distant hoot of an owl. It was as if the entire wilderness was holding its breath, which was strange. A thick, unnatural stillness settled around me. That's when I heard it. A sound just beyond the fire's glow. A soft, wet shuffling, like something dragging itself across the dirt. I froze, my mind racing. I asked myself if it was a bear or a mountain lion, but no, this was different. It moved slower, more deliberate. It was crawling. My hands, slick with sweat, I reached for my flashlight and unzipped the tent just a little, just enough for me to peek outside. I wish I never did. At first I saw nothing, just trees, the flickering fire. Then I looked down. Something was on all fours, not an animal. It looked human, but wrong, too long, too thin, its limbs bent at sickening angles, fingers twitching in the dirt. Then it moved, a slow jerking crawl inching closer. I wanted to scream, but my throat locked up. Then it turned its head. Not a normal turn, a full twisting rotation. A crunching sound filled the silence as its neck contorted, unnatural and impossible. The firelight caught its face. No eyes, no lips, just slits where features should have been. And yet I knew it was looking at me. A garbled, rattling breath escaped its throat, a sound that almost formed words. I yanked the tent shut, with my heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst. Then it laughed. Not a normal laugh, a dry wheezing sound, like something trying to mimic human laughter but failing. Then the shuffling started again, circling. I could hear the dirt shift beneath its weight, the occasional crack of a branch under its twisted limbs. I don't know how long I stayed frozen. Was it hours? Or maybe more? Then before I knew it, it was dawn. I don't remember falling asleep. When I woke up, golden sunlight streamed through my tent. I waited, trying to listen if I would hear anything, but nothing. Cautiously, I unzipped the tent. There were no footprints or broken branches, but in the dirt around my tent, deep in the soil, were claw marks. I couldn't eat. I just packed up and ran. Since then, I don't camp alone anymore. Some things in the wild hunt at night, but what's worse are the ones that don't leave when the sun comes up. They don't just watch, they follow. And no matter how far you run, you'll see them again. That's exactly what happened to the campers in this next story, because deep in the woods, they weren't alone, and the thing watching them wanted to be seen. We were deep in the wilderness, a week-long camping trip, miles from civilization. No roads, no cell service, just untamed forest. On the third night, I woke up needing the bathroom. I hated stepping into the dark alone, but I had no choice. Grabbing my flashlight, I unzipped my tent as quietly as I could. The fire had burned down to glowing embers. The air was deathly still, not even a breeze, not even the usual rustling of leaves. It was too quiet. I stepped away, my flashlight barely cutting through the dark. I was alone, or at least, I thought I was. Then I heard it. A voice. Soft, faint, almost drowned out by the silence. "Hello?" I stopped cold, my breath hitching. A woman's voice. That didn't make sense. No one else was out here. "Hello?" Closer this time. Soft, pleading. A cold wave of dread washed over me. Slowly I turned my flashlight toward the trees, and then I saw her. A woman, standing just beyond the tree line. Barefoot, skin pale and sickly in the dim light, hair hanging in wet strands over her face. She didn't move, just watched me. My stomach tightened. My grip on the flashlight trembled. I swallowed hard. "Are you okay?" She stepped forward. I stepped back. Then she smiled. And that's when I saw her teeth. Rows of them. Too many. Tiny, needle-like, crammed into her gums in jagged, unnatural lines. Some were broken. Some were rotting. I stumbled backward, choking down a scream. She took another step. I ran. I didn't care if I woke the others. I sprinted back to my tent, dove inside. and yanked the zipper shut. Then, her voice again, right outside my tent. "Hello?" The fabric shifted. Something pressed against it. A faint shadow cast by the dying embers of the fire. I held my breath. Then, the zipper moved. Just a little. I bit down on my hand to keep from screaming. Then, silence. At some point, exhaustion won. When I woke, the sun was creeping through the trees. Birds chirped. The world felt normal again. For a second, I thought maybe it was a nightmare, until I saw the footprints. Right outside my tent. Bare, damp, leading back into the woods. Some people camp for adventure, while some for peace. But the woods are ancient. They have stories older than time itself, and sometimes the things that live there don't want visitors. If these stories kept you up tonight, hit subscribe for more terrifying true encounters, and if you've ever experienced something strange while camping, let us know in the comments. Because in the wild, where the trees stand tall and the night covers everything, you are never truly alone. See you on the next one.